Here at Marathon Cooking today, we're going to be making a post-run for your super hot day dessert. This is an odd thing to say because you're thinking, I want to be healthy. How can I eat dessert? Well, you can eat dessert if it is fruit-based and if it is going to be having the carbohydrates you need and the nutrients you need for your post-run. So, first, you're going to need some organic wild blueberries. You can use regular blueberries, but organic wild are going to be super nutritious. They're frozen, so they're going to be less expensive unless you live in a great climate like California or Texas or Florida. Here in New York, these are at least half the price, maybe even less than half the price of blueberries that are grown conventionally. So if you buy frozen and you live in New York City like me or somewhere else in the Northeast, these are going to be a lot less expensive. I have 3 dates. These are organic California medjool dates. They provide a nice bit of sweetness. Make sure you take the pit out. You don't want to break something in your blender because the pit is very, very hard. 5 ripe bananas. Make sure they're not too starchy. You want bananas that are nice and ripe. And finally, you want some coconut butter. You can also just use regular coconut. The product that's going to be the least expensive is made by Nature's Way. That's raw coconut. You can find it in the whole body section of Whole Foods. This is pretty good as well. Actually, I would say it's even better. It is a little expensive. It's Artisana organic coconut butter. It's just coconut that's been put through a really powerful blender. You could even spread it on toast or whatever. It's a great product, super nutritious. And this is not just the coconut fat, it's the whole product. So it contains carbohydrates and a whole lot of other nutrients. It hasn't been spun in a centrifuge. For every serving, you're going to get 18 grams of fat. Again, this is a dessert. 7 grams of carbohydrates, 2 grams of protein, and it has a few nutrients as well. And it's super tasty. That's why we're going to be using it. So, wild blueberries, bananas, dates, coconut butter. Now here's the trick. You're going to need to put the dates and the bananas, because they're at room temperature, with the coconut butter in your Vitamix first. Spin it really good so that the coconut butter is mixed throughout the entire mixture of bananas and dates. Then you put your blueberries in. If you put your blueberries together with the coconut butter will congeal really fast and clump up and stick together, and you're just going to end up getting some big chunks of coconut, and it's not going to be mixed throughout. So this goes together first, mix it up really good in your blender. Then when it's mixed well, you can put the blueberries in and you'll have a really nice puree. Now you're going to need to use your plunger for this with your Vitamix. This is going to be absolutely essential. It will not blend unless you use your plunger, and you're not going to be adding any water. If you add water, you will make it a little too thin. You're going to eat this right afterwards. 2 tricks you can do. The first trick is you can blend all this up really well and then put the mixture in the freezer, cool it down really nicely, maybe after 20 minutes, and then blend it up again. That'll keep it a little bit cooler and more like an actual sorbet. Another thing you could do is you could blend it like I've already stated, then pour it into an ice cube container. Sorry for my girl in the background yelling. Pour it into an ice cube container and then freeze the ice cubes, and then put the ice cubes full of your new mixture into your blender, and you'd have an actual sorbet. There is about 2 tablespoons of coconut butter on the top, maybe a little bit less than that, might be about 1.5 tablespoons. I didn't actually measure. I encourage you not to measure. It's going to slow down your cooking. It's going to make it less fun. Sort of gauge things on what you like to taste. If I say 1 tablespoon and you want more, put more in. As long as you feel like that's what you nutritionally need, then put more in. Bananas in there, and then at the very bottom are some dates. Here it is, up on level 10, being blended. I'm going to go ahead and start to add the blueberries. I put my Vitamix into the freezer. It's been in there for about 3 hours with the mixture in it, just because I wanted it to harden up a little bit so it would stand up more like actual sorbet. If you have an ice cream maker, that'll work perfect. If you have the time to make it into ice cubes, that'll work perfect as well, and then freeze the ice cubes, and then you can make sorbet whatever time you want. The easiest thing is just take this whole thing, remove the top so it gets colder a little quicker, and pop it into your freezer and pull it out a few hours later. You want it to be a crystalline texture. Obviously, you can't turn it on if it's completely frozen. If you wanted to make another pass of it, and this will allow your sorbet to actually stand up like sorbet. And there is a final picture of the finished product. Again, when I first pulled it out of, when I first got done blending it, it was thinner than this. It wouldn't stand up quite like that. This is after a few hours in the freezer. If you're a little bit better about eating it immediately after blending it and not letting it sitting on your countertop while you edit a video, then it'll be closer to this consistency as soon as you're done. If you want it to be exactly like sorbet, you're probably going to need to freeze it completely and then slowly let it thaw out and churn it, or you're going to have to put it into ice cubes and do it that way. So good luck, enjoy it. It's super healthy, super nutritious, no preservatives, no additives, perfect, healthy, and delicious. Super high carbohydrate content for post-run.